So, all right, well, let's dive right in, I guess. Let's get to some of the questions. I'll be answering these questions, but Anthony will be free to pipe in as well from his experience in the game. And it'll be nice to get a little bit of a mixed perspective, some. But let's get right to it.
For sure. All right, so the first question is as follows. Is damage lasting? Can manifest angels be hurt physically? What happens to a beat up angel?
Okay, so in general, damage. So let's get to the manifested later and we'll explain that. So, in general, when you're playing for these spiritual beings, is damage lasting? Does it persist? Because, like when you're dealing with a mortal enemy or a mortal character, I'm sorry, they're wounded and it takes a while to recover sometimes or whatever. It depends on the system you're playing, how long it takes them to recover. But in Allies of Majesty, yes, it is actually. Now, there are multiple what I'll call health bars, if you will, things that function as a health pool or that can be depleted so that you get defeated. And those tend to be, or those are, I'm sorry, endurance, resolve, and passion. So those three. So endurance is like your standard HP, pretty much as far as what it means, what it functions as. It's your how much your body can take and keep going. Resolve though is a little bit different. It is your strength of will, your fortuitousness, so to speak. And as that can get broken, like your will could be broken, and even though your body could continue to fight, and you may want to, it's just not in you. You don't have the strength of will to push on. And then the third one, passion, is your emotional drive. So if that's depleted, it's more like you just can't find it in yourself to care. And I think we may have all been there at one point in our life on some topic or another. But these things do reflect when you're dealing with a spiritual being. I think it should reflect things that we as humans might consider more metaphysical or spiritual, even, and not just deal with the physical reality. So those are three different ways that you can get beat up. Now, resolve and passion do recover more quickly, and that can be like a matter of hours. If you're completely down to the lowest you could possibly get in the game, we don't actually do a 0 hit points or 0 on those. You can go to a -40. At 0, you're done, you're defeated. But that's what we call what would be killed in most games or whatever. It's defeated because again, you're eternal, you'll recover. But when 0 is defeated, but -40 is the lowest you could take somebody down. So it just takes them that much longer to recover.
Mhm.
Resolve and passion recover fairly quickly. Endurance, without some kind of a special, like a healing or something, endurance actually could take days to recover. If you were a 0, it would take you 3 days to get to your maximum on your own, just through rest. If you're not resting, you're not recovering as quickly. But if you were completely at rest and at 0, it would take you 3 complete days to get up. So that's the first part of that question. The next part was when manifest angels. What was that?
Yeah, can manifest angels get hurt physically?
Okay, so the short answer to that is no.
Yeah.
You literally could have them standing in a nuclear bomb and walk right out of it, because the reason is anything that they present for a tangible manifest, just to be clear, manifest is when they're solidly appearing as a human that you could touch, or if not a human, an animal or some other thing, when they're manifest in the natural world. But the thing is, that's an artificial manifestation. So that's the thing. It's not that their actual body becomes a natural thing now. It's still artificially connected to the natural world. So
Um,
any damage, they could maybe let themselves look damaged, like
right.
if they were trying to play a human convincingly, be manifest as a human, and somebody tried to stab them, their they could let it appear as if they were stabbed and bleeding, but they wouldn't actually be hurt.
Right. I
If
guess.
that answers that. And what was the last part of that question?
Oh, yeah. What happens to a beat up angel? I think you kind of explained that one already.
Okay, okay, cool.
Yeah, a good, I guess, like a visual to what you're saying. Like, they can just be untouched, because they're not like they're only kind of there. Is I guess the way to put it is, I guess, like Luke in like the later Star Wars episodes. When he like walks up and it's just kind of like a hologram of him almost.
Yes, no,
It's
that's
like,
a very
yeah,
good
with just all
example.
the laser blasts at him, and it's just like walks out. It's like, cool, I guess that was nothing,
Exactly. That's the perfect example, actually, because it really is that. It's a matter of he's not really there. Just a projection of himself or something that he's creating of himself is there. Same thing with the angels. Great analogy, actually. Great comparison.
Yeah.
All right.
Learning a bunch of pop culture stuff is helpful sometimes. All right, let's see. So we move on to the second one.
Yeah.
All right, cool. How do physical conditions, for instance, weather, affect angels or limit angels?
They don't.
Yeah.
There is one exception. The way I have it, when they're overlapping the natural realm, again, imagine okay, pop culture examples. I always like to explain it for those that are familiar with Minecraft as when you're playing creative mode in Minecraft.
Hmm.
Except you're not laying blocks down or anything. But the main thing is that you can fly even though you wouldn't normally be. You're not affected by gravity. You can pass right through anything solid. You're not affected by, oh, I can't go through there. There's not a door. Nope, you can just go right through. You can move wherever you want. But just like Minecraft, the way I have it in Allies of Majesty is that when you're in the middle of like a tree or something, you can't see anything but the inside of the tree.
Hmm.
So with that's the one thing I do with Allies of Majesty. They don't have X-ray vision or anything like that. They do their vision is affected by like physical objects. So if you're underground, for example, and traveling underground, you might lose your bearings because you can't see where you're going. And also audible too. It's not just sight; it's also audio. Like if there's somebody in a house, it does obstruct, sound traveling and that kind of stuff. So visual and audio gets affected a little bit. Their senses of what they receive. That's the best way to describe it. Their senses of what they receive are affected, but what affects them, you know what I'm saying? Weather doesn't slow them down, any of those kind of things, because again, they're just kind of overlapping. I think creative mode in Minecraft is my favorite comparison. Even though I don't play a lot of Minecraft, I watch you and the other kids do that quite a bit. So
And mostly the other kids.
mostly the
But
guy. Yeah, that's true. Yep.
once in a blue moon. Um, yeah. All right, I think that answers that one pretty well. I don't have much to say on that one. It was pretty self-explanatory.
Cool.
This other one's a little bit more interesting. Oh, actually, I do have one more
Sure.
thing to bring up, just in case someone feels the need to ask. Angels can stand in fires, right?
Oh, jeez. Nice callback. He's calling back my another cousin of ours that was playing when he was like 11 or something like that. I give this nice long breakdown of this beautiful what's going on in the backstory of what's where the story of where they're just taking up their characters are beginning and tell about the condition of this human and whatever's going on and I'm like, so is any questions before we start? Do you guys understand what all I laid out there? And I get one question from shout out to Daniel out there wherever you are. It was yeah, can I stand in that fire, like the campfire there? I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
and it won't burn me? It won't get hurt?
No.
No, you can
No.
do that if you
Yeah,
want.
for sure.
But that's really what it is. That's a good thing. People, this is part of why the game is challenging to get your mind around, but is also fun because it's something that you're not used to. You are, yeah, it's a whole different challenge. Like I said, and that's part of why we're doing this, and I'm answering these questions is to help people get their mind around it so that they can, instead of being confused by it, be excited about it and giving it a try. And there's no wrong way to do it. I set guidelines out, but how you and your people run it, with your play group, that's fine too.
Yeah, for sure.